gotta use a temporary variable as well. Alright, so we get ping. So it's really just here, so if this is correct, then I'll set it to 0. Because it is 0, because bots are always on the server. Let's try to make some of this not so horrible. On hit ball, on hit player. Alright, that's looking alright. I mean, when you're selling a device that you need to, that's going to make games for customers, you know, it'd be like Twitch putting out a brand new Twitch platform, but they didn't actually get but they changed everything, and now all their streamers have absolutely no idea how to do anything. I wouldn't blame the streamers for not knowing how like Twitch's new system works. I'd blame Twitch for putting out a new system before they were ready. No way. What? You'd blame the streamers for not being flexible. But they're the console creators are making a marketplace in which other people create the products. So their customers are not you, the actual game player, most of the time. They're the developers, because the developers are actually making the products that are sold on their marketplace. If you're not up to date, it's your fault. All right, there you go, Chris Goku. You're at fault. It's your fault. Get good, scrub. Don't blame Twitch. Blame yourself or God. All right. So the strikes will work now for those things. So we got high hit, low hit. Let's go get the slide hit. So we will slide hit these guys. I don't know. I think that example with the PS3 is pretty damning, because like if you've got those big companies like Electronic Arts, and even it's not worth it for them to make their own in-house like collection of PS3 experts and send it all to them. Instead, they're like, to hell with it. It's not even worth it. We're just gonna get second or third party, in this case, third party people. Just fix it, throw it over the wall. We don't give a shit. Like, there's no money in it. Quantum computing is next. Make sure You're a mathematician, so it'll be no problem. Don't worry, they'll still have Tinker Toys for the rest of us mere mortals. That was one of the things my parents would be like, "Hey, aren't you spending money for books for college?" I'm like, "Books? If it's written down in a book, it's already too old for game development. We're screwed." If it's written down, it's at best out of date, and at worst just flat out wrong. All right, so slide now for the defend. Is this just strike ball? Did we do anything different here? Looks like defend just didn't get that update last time I looked at it. Yeah, it looks like defend didn't get overhauled. So do we have our variables? No, we ain't got crap. We didn't change anything with the defend. It's just a fucking mess. Alright, so for the defend, let's set up our actors. Alright, so we also want to grab our player controller and kind of set these up a little bit like we have otherwise. I mean, our player proxy. So this is a player proxy actor. So let's start unraveling this mess. Yeah, it's one of the issues as well, is like one of my friends is a senior engineer at Amazon, and he switched kind of his jobs from games to not games, and he hasn't programmed in 6 months. And you sit him in front of a computer, I swear to you just know he's going to get the pants beat off of him by somebody who's been programming in the last 2 weeks, even if they're not that great, because just at some point there you completely lose. It's all short term. Like if you're not constantly doing stuff, it's damn tough. Alright, so we need strike ball to be called here. And do we have a variable for ball? Yeah, we have curveball is what we should be setting. And curveball is a BP bracket sack ball object. It's true, we need more Gundams. So it's player proxy is what we need to snag here. And then we need the ball as well. Why did it break both? Alright, so let's see. Where are things that we are not actually using? This will be curveball. We don't need the player controller, I don't think. We don't need this either. Are we using the player proxy? Doesn't look like it, so we don't need that. All of a sudden, this is looking a lot more sane. Alright, so what we need to do is we need the player controller, and we need to do player controller is valid. Then we will call our server call. direction, the force, and the ball position all set there. Alright, that should do that. Yeah, it was definitely one of my favorite classes in college is when we actually went and made robots. We made robot cars with microcontrollers and stuff like that. I, of course, strapped guns to mine, and airsoft guns that were automatic and hot wired batteries together and flipped mechanical switches in order to fire them off. That was pretty cool. Made a color sensor out of three light sensors and then different films so it could see red, green, and blue with one pixel eye. It works. If there wasn't a shortage of coders back then, I think EA would have happily laid off everybody, but they need coders. Like, I don't think I've ever worked at any studio where you don't need another coder. Like, it's always been you need another coder. Like, only on projects where like the project is canceled and you need to go down to a skeleton crew or something to redo the design. Just everywhere you need more engineers. Alright, so the defend is set up, the pound is set up. All the rest of the abilities are set up. Well, building robots is actually pretty cheap. All you need is a breadboard, microcontroller, some batteries, and like just a normal RC car or some shit like that to get started and get rolling. To make an actual robot, though, with like, of a decent size, I don't know, you'd need some laser cutters, CNC machines, and a whole hell of a lot of money to get started. Probably also need to learn to weld. Okay, so let's make sure this guy can actually hit everything that he's supposed to be able to hit. He's not hitting it, is he? Alright. It's because we got all these cast faileds. Alright, so ground pound. Low hit. High hit. Slide. And defend. Yeah, as long as you throw away everything else in your life, making a robot is a perfectly reasonable thing that could be done. He'll eventually hit it. Hit it, you bastard. They're pretty good. I mean, that guy just wall jumped up there. I mean, he doesn't even know what a wall is. Yeah, it's looking like all the moves are working. Excellent. Alright, so that is all the ball hits. So let me see. We're getting a few errors. So, access none trying to read player controller function high hit active from server high hit ball. Alright, so high hit active is trying to read from which? Player controller? Well, it's probably where he hit me down here, right? Yeah, it's this getting the player controller and passing it in here, so he's not going to be able to hit me. Which is exactly what's supposed to be going on. Okay, so we need to... Alright, Chris Goku, hopefully you enjoy all of your work. So I need to figure out why on the dedicated server these guys aren't doing anything before I move on. So why on a dedicated server would nothing be happening with these players? Well, let's see. We'd be calling the player controller. We'll be calling spawn bot, so we'll be calling spawn bot just as we were. So activate for local bot player. Well, let's put it up and just see what's going on with these guys. Like, can we still hit this dude? No, we can't do anything to him. Alright, so I think it's going to be that inside of our event graph here, so let's at least log it out and see what it's saying. It's more difficult to debug the dedicated server because there's no good way to run the dedicated server. Like, you can't have the editor run as a dedicated server itself, which is just kind of annoying. Maybe I can. Maybe there's a drop down for that. I should go check. New player is locally owned is true. Okay, so it is locally owned. Wait, what? Okay, he's hitting the ball. The problem is... Wait a minute. Alright, so yeah, high hit active is trying to punch me. So the issue is that the replication isn't coming down? From the server, so... Alright. So where is that? It's going to be like player proxy actor. Okay, so we want to see if we're getting these net props back from the server. So we're not getting any net props from the server. All right, so we're sending data properly. We should be receiving data on ourselves because we want to be able to know where the server thinks we are. It's like we're not sending our information to the clients. Any of the information. Well, I guess I'm just going to have to do printf debugging unless there's some sort of play as... Yeah, you can't play as the dedicated server and spawn a child client to connect to you. I guess I could run as a server and have another client connect to me. I might want to do that. So it's going to be some stupid crap I hacked in here for bots for local ownership. Because it's saying they're locally owned on the server. No, we'll try it one more time like this. And we'll have to watch the logs. What? Okay, net tick on this actor. What this never called? Okay, so then how the hell are these guys updated? Alright, well, I'll be right back. So I don't get it. Why is like the player proxy actor is the thing that actually does stuff, as far as I remember. So it's the player proxy actor, which is calling update net actor. Replicates is false. Is replicates ever being set to true? Alright, then we can remove these guys. I don't think these net ticks are ever doing anything anymore. Best not to fuck around with it too much until we fix other things. And this will be inefficient and all that stuff, but not a problem. Alright, so let's spam our output logs with a whole bunch of garbage. Figure out what we're doing. Alright, so local player was false. No net update. That is what's supposed to be printed out. And the server is never saying that the local player is true. So is local player is never returning true. Okay, so is local player. So if local player controller is null pointer, okay, so this is in the wrong order, is what's going on. Alright, so net controller is okay on local player. Let's spawn our bot. And let's make sure our bot is actually running over here. Come on, Mr. Bot. You can do it. Let me see you on that radar. Excellent. So we can hit him, he just can't hit us. So what I should do is I should take on the entity actor, I need to take all that garbage out, don't I? Because it's not doing anything. Well, let's take it out after we finish this stuff. Well, I should probably take it out now and see if this is ever actually called. Well, actually, this stuff might be used. If we ever had an entity which is separate from our player proxy systems, it should use this, and it's probably correct. So that's why we need to not remove all this stuff. Alright, so we'll keep it around. It's used, it's just not used by the players. Okay, so now we need to get the player hits moved out over into the shims actor.